If you have ever wondered which party you are registered with in your voter registration form, the answer in Illinois is you aren't. Illinois is not a state where we register to vote by party. It's not on the registration form. Other states do that. We do not. The only time that a party matters is during a primary election. When you go to vote, you will decide whether you want to pull the Democratic ballot, the Republican Party ballot, or any other statewide party that has a primary going that year. That's the only time your party affiliation matters in terms of the election process here in Illinois. So how do you change your party? The answer is you can't. The only way to change your party is when the next primary comes around, you have the option to pick any of those party primary ballots again. So if you voted Democrat in one election, in the next election, you can pull a Republican ballot, and that's how you change your party. Again, it's not your registration status, it's just going to be your voting history. Because while the registration will never show party, here in Illinois, we do show which party ballot you pulled with your voting history. So if you voted in the last primary, your record will show that you voted, and then it'll show which party ballot you selected. In no way, shape, or form do we have a way to know who you actually voted for. But in Illinois, we do have that voting history updated, but it is not permanent. Like I said, you can switch back and forth from one party to the next each primary. When you go to vote on a primary election day, the election judges are going to ask you which party ballot you want, because here in Illinois, you can only vote in one party's primary. So if you want to vote for a Democratic candidate, you've got to pull a Democratic ballot. If you want to vote for a Republican Party candidate, you've got to pull a Republican Party ballot. We are not a state that allows for voting in both parties' primaries. And then in terms of general elections, there are no Democratic ballots, there are no Republican ballots. There are just one ballot, your particular ballot style. It will have candidates from both parties. How you voted in the previous primary does not affect which ballot you get in the general election. It's just based on where you live and where you're registered to vote. Now in primaries, if you do not want to declare a party, if there is a referendum, a public question on the ballot, there will be a nonpartisan ballot. It'll have no candidates on it. It'll just have that referendum or question. So if there's a tax question, or if there's a constitutional amendment or something along those lines, you'd be able to go in, request the nonpartisan ballot, and just vote on that question. And your voting history will just be updated to show you voted. It won't reflect the party because you didn't select a party's ballot. So again, key takeaway here is in Illinois, you register to vote. You do not register for a party. Whichever party's ballot you choose in a primary, we will update your voting history to reflect that and to show that that's the party's ballot you selected. It's not a permanent registration. You can switch back and forth based on your own choice. When you go in to vote in the primary, you don't have to call us and tell us. And your candidate choices will always remain secret. So we will never know who you voted for. We'll only know which party ballot you selected.